What's up, race fans? Welcome back to Doubling Down with your hosts, Colin and Vinny, right here on Trust to Profits YouTube. And for those of you watching us on Nest and Nation, great to have you aboard. Vinny, I don't know where to start. I got all kinds of places and things I want to talk about. I think first up, we got to talk about the contests that we run. You can go to doublingdown.glide.page and sign up for free and play. But look at this leaderboard. We finally got some numbers up there. Not like $6 and $7 or your first and second like we had for so many weeks. But we finally pulled a double that paid some nice prices. And it's Shoddy again, who I'm starting to worry about our jobs here on the show because she is just crushing the doubles. So congrats to Shoddy, J-Worm. Pulling together a nice daily double last weekend, which I also want to talk about because we've talked about wanting to maybe start off this show with a little retrospect of what we did and what we did wrong the week prior. And last week we had Ben on from Equibase, which I love having Ben. He does a great job. And Vinny, you joined on his show. And I feel like if we had done this show together, I at least would have got through the first leg because as I was talking with Ben, I said the horse I'm worried about is Lush Lips. He checked all my boxes. I always talk about horses that are consistently putting up triple-digit Equibase speed figures in comparison to the rest of the field, and that's exactly what Lush Lips had. Ben came on. We kind of both talked about Fian, who's another horse who I had on this show in previous weeks as a nice price and a winner. Used Laurelin, who came up for second, but that was a big miss. But you love Lush Lips.
I did. The race at Del Mar, now 2 back, was really good. Like, yeah, she ran second, but it was a good race. And with the Breeders' Cup being out in California this year, I just didn't see why they were bothering shipping her back east out of that if she wasn't ready to roll. Like it just kind of to me felt like a win now spot to like get a big race in before the Breeders' Cup. So like that's really why I liked her, and she wasn't cutting back in distance, which I always prefer on the turf. So it was very good. I mean, I was surprised how much she paid. I mean, having a $19 winner was great, but like you, I didn't hit the second leg either. So
yeah, you talked about Ben played it right. You just picked the wrong single by using one horse in that first leg and then just using them all in the next one. We got Dive Bomber in, that's the name of the horse, who ended up blowing it up for all of us. I loved Remy's Moon. Thought that was a good spot for that horse. You had a couple horses scratch out on you and ended up with Pylon, so kind of just a frustrating thing when you tape on Wednesday and then you're hoping it on Saturday. But regardless, I was out after Lush Lips. So we got that going on. Like we said, jump in and play along with us. Doubling Down Glide. This month we are giving away free credit to horse tourneys. So that's why we're getting all these big prices coming through. People are really trying now with their daily doubles. $50 to first place if you get through the 6-week tournament that we're running right now. $25 to second. $25 to third. That is all over at horse tourneys. We love our horse tourneys. You can get in there for low cost, play a whole card for $1 or $2, or you can try and get it qualification in for NHC. So all kinds of options over there. But you can dive in and play for free right here with us. Also, shout out to the lounge on Thursday nights. Vinny, they just crushed it for like $1,200 tonight, playing Woodbine, hitting the last 3 races, including a nice $2 trifecta box that I think paid about $850. So shout out to Sean and the Formula and Tim who crushed it. Everyone, if you haven't been a part of the lounge, it's live on Thursday nights. They do a $100 bankroll every night, and most weeks they don't lose it all on you. In fact, most weeks they're winning. We got to get you on the lounge, Vinny.
Yeah, one day. Thursdays are tough for me. I know we're recording now, but when they do the lounge, I usually have prior commitments. So one day I'll make it on. But yeah, it's definitely fun. I do tune in from time to time, and then I'm in the comments sometimes. So
for those that don't know, Vinny, I live vicariously through Vinny because he's always got something on. He's always out. He's always in tournaments. He's always at dinner, and I'm like, I'm putting the kids to bed. So I'll talk to you in a little bit. So we live vicariously through Vinny up in Saratoga, especially in the summer when you're like, I'm at the track.
Yep. I lose track of time too. So.
Yeah, I know, right? This week, Vinny, we're going to go to Sunday at Keeneland. We decided we've always usually picking Saturday. We went through and decided that maybe Sunday is a place we can attack. We have a race 8 and race 9. Stakes race, mile and a half on the turf for 3-year-olds and up, gets a class rating of a 105. It's the Root and Wriggle, a grade 3 for fillies and mares, a field of 9. Vinny, if you wanted to go international, here's your race to do it. We got horses from Germany, France, Ireland, Great Britain, and South Africa. So if there's a particular country you
Yep.
want to feel affection for, then you've got the options in this race. I thought that this was a pretty good sequence. Where did you end up on top here in race 8?
Yeah, I ended up with the 3 on top here. Venecia?
Valencia? Valencia?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just kind of like how horse hasn't been like winning, but a 2 back ran against She Feels Pretty, who's more than likely going to be the favorite in the in whatever Breeders' Cup race she's gonna run in. 3 back wasn't terrible. The last start wasn't great at Woodbine, but I'll take it. I don't know. I like Ben Curtis getting on. He's been riding very good for Walsh this year. So I just thought this was a good spot. And like, yes, the last number dipped a little bit, but the few races before I thought made her fit very well against this field.
Yeah, you have those 3 triple digit 100 plus speed figures in that little area that you're talking about. And also, what I had written down was trainer switch. You go from a 9% trainer in Michael Doyle to Brendan Walsh. With Ben Curtis teamed up is only 9%, but I think the trainer switch on turf routes, Walsh is 32% first off the trainer change. So you definitely certainly have some angles there that are in favor of the 3. Did you go anywhere else? I forget.
Yeah, I used a couple here. I also used the number 2 horse. Yeah, these next couple aren't going to be in any particular order here. I used the 2 horse. I'm just kind of going to draw a line through that last race. Uh, it just wasn't. It wasn't a good race for just that. Basically that. The 2 prior to it, yes, like this is a bit of a a little bit better class, but the races 2 and 3 back make this horse a contender. So that was kind of where I went here. Another Brendan Walsh trainee. I love Brendan Walsh horses going long on the turf. I think he's just very good at training like that. So
Ian
I
adds
landed on this
Tyler
one
here.
as well. Yeah, and like right, and like yeah, so Curtis goes to the other Walsh, and now Tyler picks this one up. Tyler's never a bad pickup in my opinion, especially on the turf.
They're hitting
So
at
I thought this
17%
horse
together.
yeah, I thought this horse just again, you draw a line through that last race, and even 4 back there, the allowance race. I think that race fits pretty well. The last race, the horse just had no chance, and I
Kentucky
know I've been
Downs.
kind of a yeah, exactly. So I'm willing to forgive there. We'll see, we'll see. I just thought I was using one Walsh horse. I'm going to use the one that picked up Tyler as well. So that's where I ended up on those 2. I think we both agreed on the number 6 horse, if I remember correctly.
Yep, I'm high on this 6. Vive Wave, Vivois.
Yep.
Irad and Joe Sharp, they're hitting at 26% together. This horse exits the same race as the number 5, which was a different race at Kentucky Downs than the horses that we previously just talked about. And on that day, Vinny, I don't have stats. I mean, right here on the right side of RaceLens, it gives you if that day there was a track bias, and on this particular day it says none and none. I didn't play a ton of Kentucky Downs, but I feel like whenever I watched that track this meet, horses on the inside to me just were not finishing strongly. I just continued to see horses coming down the middle of that track, and those were your horses that were winning. And like I said, I didn't watch every single race, so I could be wrong in what I observed, but what I observed was the exact same thing that happened to this horse right here, who was down on the inside on the front end, gets into the stretch, and then is just passed by 4 or 5 horses to his outside.
Yeah. Uh, and like Irad gets back on. Hernandez rode last time. Not that Hernandez has done a bad job on this horse. He's got a win in 2. He's got a win in the second on him. But horse did win last time at 2 back at Saratoga for Irad. So again, another one where like kind of just like you said, kind of just gonna draw a line through that Kentucky Downs race. In the last 2 races, make this horse a contender in my opinion. So I thought I had to use this one.
Absolutely. You see a nice angle here pop on RaceLens. This is for horses with the highest late pace. So closers basically that are coming back, returning in less than 45 days. Hits at a pretty good, nice success score of 7.2%. ROI is down, but this was one I did not want to leave off because that's an angle I've seen come through pretty consistently lately. It's a new one that I've added in. And we had talked about Lush Lips with the triple digit Equibase speed figures. You're getting that right here with the number 6 Vivois. Probably said the name four different ways now.
Right. And then I also, the last horse I used was the number 9 horse. Bless my stars. Yep, another Walsh horse. I just thought this horse has been keeping good company. I mean, this is, it's not a grade 1, it's a grade 3. She's running a grade 3. She lost 6th 2 back, but only by a length. Then a mile and a 16th, finished 6th by 5. Did make up some ground, but Be Your Best is a solid horse, especially at Gulfstream. So it didn't lose to bad horses there. Gets Johnny V. It's not Irad, but I like this horse stretching out. And again, I really like Walsh stretching these horses out on the turf. And I think you have the blue number there, 4 back, circled with the 109. Yeah, it's an international race. We'll see if it translates, but again, even the 99 last time, 99, 102, 100, 109, 99, this horse usually flirts around the triple digits. So again, I thought she was a horse that just kind of made sense here. And with the outside post, I'm kind of hoping she just doesn't get into trouble. We'll see how far back she is, though. She does seem to want to come from a little bit more off the pace than I would like, but at a decent price, I'll take it.
Yeah, it looks like there's some rain in the forecast Saturday night over at Keeneland, so I thought maybe that this horse would benefit as well. If there's a little bit of give in the ground, hopefully maybe that's benefits you for Bless My Stars as well. I only went 2 deep. I would have used that horse as well. That was one that I was kind of on the fence on. I decided to go the inside for a 20-1 shot here with Boss Lady Bailey. Has a 103 Equibase speed figure at the distance. Remember, this is a really long race. They're going a mile and a half, not necessarily a distance that I like to. I've talked on this show about the 7 furlong distance being funky, the 5 furlong distance being really quick, and then some of these longer races. I like to rely on horses who have shown me that they can handle the distance, and not only has this horse handled it, although it was an allowance race, the horse handled it at Keeneland as well. Back on April 18th, putting up a 103 Equibase speed figure. So although we don't see multiple, talked about how we'd like to see multiple, I think at 20-1 for Michael Maker with Louis Saez aboard. I don't know, another horse that's coming from off the pace. One thing I wrote down was who's actually a horse that's going to be on the front end in this race, because I couldn't find anybody that actually wants to be out there.
It's one of those races where the first 3/4 of a mile are really just jockeying for position, and then the real race starts, around the mile marker. I think this will be a pretty slow pace. So, this could be a race though where you see a horse that 4 or 5 races back showed a little bit of speed, usually likes to come off the pace, and jockey just sends and just nobody catches them because of how slow the pace is. And I mean, your 1 has shown a little bit of speed to 2 back there. Was only off by very easily with an aggressive jockey like Saez. I wouldn't really be surprised if you see this horse at least contesting the early pace to keep the rail. You might get a really good, this horse clears early. You might just have a runaway there because nobody wants to be on that pace, like you said.
Exactly. And Maker second off the layoff, going a mile and a half on the turf, is 22% with the average winner of $14. So I also found some horses in there that this is an angle where Michael Maker knows how to kind of bring them back off the layoff and what to look for. So we'll take a shot with Boss Lady Bailey. That's all I'm using, a 20-1 and the number 6 at 3-1. So that'll hopefully get us through. We both got some coverage there. Be sure to head on over and check out our merch store. We have merch available. I just made a new Doubling Down hat in our colors. It's nice and pretty slick. So head on over. We're going to take a quick time out here on Nested Nation. Stay tuned on Trust the Profits as we continue for leg 2. All right, Vinny, back for leg 2 of our daily double here for Sunday. Remember, everybody, it's Sunday. We're going to look at race 9. We're going to do a maiden special weight. We haven't done many of these on this show, so I was kind of excited because I feel like the maiden special weights are more in my wheelhouse of feeling comfortable in picking winners. Field of 14 with 2 also entered. 6 furlongs on the dirt for 2-year-olds. Where you going, Vinny? I thought you were going to have more coverage.
Yeah, I originally was. I debated on using the I believe it's the number 5, the horse with Tyler.
Yep.
I liked the horse's debut. I thought the race came back okay, numbers wise. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna take the Brad Cox horse, the number 7, coming soon. Gets Irad up. It's a Gary and Mary West homebred. Pedigree is solid though. Munnings out of a distorted humor mare, and at 6 furlongs, I really like Munnings horses going shorter. I know recent years they kind of have been stretching out a little bit. I still think the sprints are kind of where you want to see Munnings. So yeah, this is where I ended up. The horse has some solid workouts, nothing like eye popping. Last 2 works have been from the gate and have been okay. You know, a mile going a minute and 5 furlongs out of a gate for an unraced horse. You know, it's not amazing, but it's not awful. But yeah, the gate works from this horse have been all right. Really, all the works have been solid. Even the 4 furlong works, 48 seconds. 3 furlongs, 37 seconds for the first work. That one's not like the greatest, but the last few, I like when they run like the minute. If you see a couple minutes in a row like that, working 5 furlongs, usually means like, you know, they didn't go super fast in one work and just burn themselves out. So this one seems ready for Cox.
3 of those 5 furlong workouts in a row is what I wrote down as being pretty attractive. On the 7 coming soon, when I put together my ticket, I ended up leaving this horse off, and that might bite me. But I showed those standings. We're hovering around break-even line, so I think we're getting a little tight with our money because we want to make sure that we're not spending too much on some of these races. So I had to make some cuts in some places. I decided to ignore the first-time starters, which is always dangerous, right, Vinny? First-time starters going against I'm ignoring the horses that already have starts, and that's dangerous because horses learn so much in their first-time start that they can come back. And the number 5 there is one that I had written down, who got a 79 in that first race with Tyler and Foley, who were hitting at 30% together. They have a bullet workout on the paper that I thought really stood out. So definitely, that horse beats me. It beats me. What are you going to do? Yalpon is a sire who, for first-time starters, just really hits at
It's disgusting. Yeah,
it's disgusting. 28% in dirt sprints.
I didn't see. I know that the new, like the next year's stud fees are already coming out. I didn't see what Yalpon got increased to, but you got to imagine he won't be 30,000 next year. Yeah, his first-time starters are just crazy this year.
Yeah, so, when you cut that down to dirt sprints, you get hit at 28%. So that jumped out at me. RaceLens does a good job of just circling dams and sires for you if they hit at a pretty good percentage for first-time starters. And look, the sire and the dam of this number 2 associated at 15-1 popped off the page at me. And then I even saw some positive ROI here for Beckman, who is plus 57% ROI with first-time starters on the dirt, 14% win percentage. So when I start seeing these kind of numbers and not digging too much into pedigree, other than knowing Yalpon's going to be a pretty good bet, I'm not going to leave this horse off. So Associated was one that I'm going to use for the Jason Worth 2-8 Racing stable. So shout out to you Phillies fans.
Are you using the other Yalpon in this race too? Because that was the other one I toyed with.
Second for
The
me is the
number.
number 12, Yopon.
Yeah,
Something dangerous is the two
yeah,
horses. You
yeah.
get Jose and you get Asmussen aboard. Gas Station Sushi out of an Into Mischief. 21% win percentage on
Uh,
dirt sprints. So both sides of the pedigree on both of these horses just popped
oh
out at
yeah,
me.
I loved gas station sushi. I want a good amount of money on. She was a fun little horse out in California. She ran some pretty good races. So
Yeah, you're right.
so
One at
yeah,
Keeneland, one at Del Mar, one third in the 8 bells behind me in Mischief.
I was, yeah,
So,
and then one at Los Al. Yeah, she was a fun horse. So I always liked the name, but yeah, it's a good pedigree, and Spendthrift has been like on a tear with their
yep.
2-year-olds. So yeah, this was the one that I was worried about more than the other Yaupon, but the post was kind of what did me on this. I was like, first time breaking from the 12 post, with scratches I might add later, but if this one beats me, I won't be shocked.
The other one I was going to use, another price, is the number 4, Ilios, for Luan Machado and Gustavo Delgado. DM Take a Memo hits really well with dirt sprints as well. 26% win percentage, 36% positive ROI. This is a $650,000 2-year-old purchase, Vidi. So that number jumped off the page. It's a Justify. The Dam is offspring of, remember, Communication Memo. That's a half to this horse, is one that I had written down. And Bourbon Memory was another horse who won at first asking for Take a Memo. So some good pedigree there. Consistent works not only at Saratoga, had been working really well, but then comes up to Keeneland and just kind of keeps it up. Didn't really miss a beat. I trust Gustavo Delgado in these situations for first-time starters, 14%. Usually he's better second time out, but we'll take a shot with the 4 Ilios. Any interest in that one, or is there anybody else you had your radar on?
Not really. It was really the Yaupons I agreed on. Yeah, expensive purchase here. I don't. I know that they're first time starters, and like yes, you have to get works in. I don't love how far back this horse has been working to make it to this debut. Like something tells me like this horse was at Saratoga all summer and then didn't debut, and now you're waiting until October. Like I feel like there's yeah, like I feel like there's something a little like there's something more here that like maybe this horse is just not all there yet, because I feel like you get those, especially what the August 2nd work. You get a bullet on horse works a bullet on August 2nd, works a bullet on August 2nd, comes back, works another solid 37 on August 8th, and then works again on like I feel like somewhere in here there's a race. Then like maybe it was like maybe there was something where like a race didn't fill or like the weather, so they decided not to run it. Like not sure. Just that's one of those weird things that like if there's too many works before a debut, I won't play a horse, and that's kind of where this horse fell in that bucket.
Interesting perspective. Especially, it might be maybe you'd see a gap in the works, and that would explain something. But you don't even have that. He comes back and runs another
Right,
bullet
exactly.
September
That's
20th.
that's where I'm like it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong. So like it could be like, just something I'm looking too far into it, but it's like also like horse was working like bullets at Saratoga, and you're just not you're going to wait until October at Keeneland to run. Like all right, like we'll see.
Take this with a grain of salt. There's obviously a lot of first-time starters, but Equibase RaceLens, as expected, puts the 5 on top. Similar to what we said, probably with the fact that the horse has a couple races under the belt. That'll do it for us for this week's Doubling Down. Be sure you get in to our contest there, free to play. We want to give away horse racing, horse attorney credit. What else you got going on, Vinny? Anything you got your eye on, or is it all turned attention towards Breeders' Cup?
Just waiting for Breeders' Cup at this point. Waiting to see who's actually running, who's coming over from Europe, and we can start we can start making at least making some like early tickets, or we have the schedule. The schedule's out now, so you know what races are in what order. You kind of know who's running in what races. So just wait to see how the track's running that day and who actually decides to go. Because I know like the Breeders' Cup Sprint, I think is going to be the strangest of races, because you have. You don't know if Nisos ends up there or if he ends up in the dirt mile. You don't have, in my opinion, the best sprinter in the country going in Bookham Dano. I don't believe they are sending him. They said they weren't sending him.
I
don't
thought
know if that's changed. I don't think so. They said, I'm pretty sure they said they weren't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nisos. Yeah, Nisos was between the two races. I saw Baffert say he was not going to the Classic. Correct. But I was pretty sure like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the trainer said we're not, like, Dano's not shipping to California, and like that just opens that rate. He's not running, and what's the Brad Cox horse? The Patch Adams retired because he got hurt in training.
Yep.
So you arguably have the top 2 sprinters in the country not running in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, which is going to make that if Nisos decides to go to the dirt mile and not the sprint, that makes that probably one of the best betting races of the day, because I don't think there's going to be a heavy favorite in that race, and you're going to get your favorite will probably be somewhere around 4 or 5 to 1, and you'll probably get a lot of horses entering knowing that you have 2 top dogs not running in it. So I think you'll probably get 10, 11 horses, and your favorite will probably be 4 or 5 to 1 if Nisos doesn't go. If Nisos goes, he's just going to be the overwhelming favorite. Not saying he wins, but kind of takes if you like him, kind of takes the the value out of the race. But
and the sprint is where I was pulling numbers last night. The sprint is where you get your prices. I'm going to have that on content coming up, as I was looking at where do the prices come in Breeders' Cup, and it's in those sprint races. So stay tuned to us. We'll have plenty of Breeders' Cup coverage. Here's the tickets for Doubling Down for Sunday. I'm going to go 1-6 with the 2-4-12. Vinny's going 2-3-6-9 with the 7. Cost him $4. Put in the comments who you like. Until next time, good luck, everybody.